Me. Come on, come on, you guys. Thank you, thank you. Either one of you. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. This has been a long time coming as far as body-worn cameras in Paterson is concerned. And we've heard from residents this is what they want, because this would be stepping in the right direction relative to transparency and accountability. And one item we want to address going forward is establishing that trust between police and the public. And as I announced at one particular press conference, this is a tool of trust that we really need in our toolbox. And so I'm proud to announce with our police department that we will have police officers wearing body cameras. And it will start as a pilot program.
Correct.
It'll be 25 police officers over the course of a 90-day trial period. And if everything goes smoothly, we will advance and escalate the effort from 25 to 150 police officers. So again, this is a major endeavor in our city. It's been talked about in the past. It's been pursued in the past, but now it's going to be reality in our city. Absolutely. As far as what I said is concerned. And when I talk about accountability, Anthony, I talk about accountability on both ends. Not just accountability for police, but anyone who's involved in an interaction with our officers. So that's what we're looking at. When we talk about 21st century policing, it cannot start without body cameras. Because considering what happened this past summer with the murder of George Floyd, people want more transparency, people want more accountability, and today we're giving them more transparency and more accountability. At this time, I'd like to hear from our Public Safety Director, Jerry Spezial.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This turns a page in Paterson Police history. This is building trust and legitimacy with the community, and this is a good thing. I had the opportunity to speak to the officers that are wearing these body cameras, and the first thing out of their mouth was, this is a great thing. They told me that, this protects both us, and as the mayor said, this protects the public. This is all about transparency. This is all about building trust and legitimacy. This is all about accountability. And this is about policing in the 21st century. So I am extremely excited about the fact that we are moving in this direction. And I know we will do well because it has already, in the short period that we have tested these devices, worked extremely well. So I look forward to serving the public and our officers being out there, being accountable, the public being able to see what we do. They get to see what the fire department does by a TV show. They now get to see a body camera, so they get to see the day in and day out of a Paterson police officer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director. Also would like to hear from a representative of the City Council who will speak in English and in Spanish for our news stations that are in Espanol. Our councilman from the 5th Ward, Luis A. Velez.
Thank you, Mayor, Public Safety Director, Chief of Police, Police Officer, Law Enforcement. This is a great date in Paterson. Great date in Paterson. The mayor just stated the community requested it. It's here. Making sure that we are responsible and accountable, making sure that now eyes on Paterson is not only on the people, is also eyes in our public safety officers. And that's a great news. The mayor alluded about the incidents nationwide about George Floyd, but I'm more concerned also incident that happened here that needs to be forward, and this is part of it, to make sure that our community feels safe in our city, and making sure that those that was to serve and protect have a clear vision that they also give the right service to our rich city. Damas y caballeros, el momento donde la gente ha estado esperando en nuestra ciudad de Paterson, donde verdaderamente han demandado de nuestra ciudad que haya responsabilidad y fiscalidad dentro de la policía de Paterson, y ha llegado el momento de que ahora no solamente los ojos estarán en los policías, sino la policía tendrá los ojos en todas las personas que ellos van a estar interactuando allá afuera. Independientemente el crimen que sea, independientemente el cómo se va a atender las llamadas, ellos estarán en todo momento protegidos y también a la misma vez protegiendo la información que ellos reciben a diario. So, ustedes residentes de esta ciudad, siéntase cómodo que de parte de la administración, de parte de la policía, se está haciendo todo lo posible para que haya confianza entre el cuerpo policial y la comunidad en la cual ellos les sirven como tal. De parte de nosotros en la ciudad de Paterson, queremos que nuestros residentes tengan 150% de que hay calidad de vida y también responsabilidad y calidad en servicio en seguridad pública. God bless you all.
Thank you. Gracias. Director Spezial alluded earlier to the fact that we've been testing how these body-worn cameras would work, and it's gone relatively well. And today, we have two officers to demonstrate with the body cameras that they've been wearing. So we have Officer Brito and we have Officer Perez. If you want to come forward, say a few words, please. Don't be shy. You're officers. You deal with the public all the time. If you want to do it in Spanish for Yolanda, do it for Yolanda.
Okay, where are we doing the demonstration?
Yeah, do the demonstration first and then say a few words.
Okay, so the body-worn cameras are to be worn on a vest, above the waist, below, I guess, the neck. It has indications, so when you're turning it on, you double tap twice. You'll hear a beep. The camera's showing a red indication that it's recording. When you're on scene, you just go about the same way you would on a regular job. As soon as you're done, you hold the button down for 2 seconds. Okay, it's not doing it. And it'll show you that the camera's off when there's a long tone. That's all.
Officer, you want to also add anything?
To the camera?
Yeah.
You mentioned the button on the side?
No.
There's also a button on the side that we can press, just in case to clip more, there's more buttons on the side that we could press.
No, just move
Move to the side?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there's buttons on the side that we can press to, point at certain sections that we want. So for example, if you're on a scene and nothing's really going on, we press this button once the action's being taken.
Thank you, Officer. Officer, would you like to share some?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
How the cameras work?
Yeah.
They want to just give them a little rundown.
We'll double tap it. You hear that beep. It'll let you know that the camera's on. There's a red light flickering. Once you're done, you have to speak to the camera, let it know that we're done. Hold it for 3 seconds. Once you hear that beep again, then it's done.
That's very good. That's good. It's been expensive. No, she asked if you could do it in Spanish. Who's going to be brave enough to do it in Espanol?
I'll try to do it. My Spanish is very bad.
Yolanda, just for you, okay?
I'm going to do my best. So la cámara está súper dos, están
Debajo del cuello.
¿Cómo se dice body vest? en español?
Debajo del cuello.
Muy bien. Excellent. Fuerte aplauso, por favor. Do you want to also just talk about your experience? It's been a couple days or so.
We have about a week now using the cameras, and I feel that, just like everyone said, that it's good for the community and for us as well, for protection of both. It will probably eliminate most of the complaints we get, vice versa, versus the public and us. We get to see what's really going on, how the public interacts with police, and how we do with them as well.
That's good. Very good. Anything you want to add, officer?
Like
All
she
right,
said,
forward that message.
you know, it's helping both sides, and it's all about trust. And, you know, we look forward to gaining the public's trust, and that's what's more important to us. As long as they trust us, we trust them, it makes it safe and better for everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, spell your name, please. And,
Spell my name?
yeah.
I'm Officer Selba Perez. First name is Selba, last name Perez.
Very good.
I'm Officer Kevin Brito, Kevin, last name Brito, Brito.
Thank you, officers. Let's give another round of applause. Thank you. So as you can see, it's a matter of protecting and serving the population even better, but reestablishing that trust, which is so essential. We need our community to be able to believe in the men and women who put that uniform on every day. And I want to thank Chief Pecora for joining us. I know, Director, you want to especially thank some individuals, so by all means, Director, please.
Yes, I do. You know, I know this may not be newsworthy, but Anthony Giovanni, our lieutenant, who worked with Todd Pearl, another lieutenant, they spearheaded this, and they worked tirelessly under the chief, under the deputy chief. They did a phenomenal job. As I received information from the mayor, I rifled it off through emails. They stood up to the plate, they swung for the bleachers, and they made this happen. And they did a phenomenal job. And I just want to thank you for your tireless efforts and your dedication. I know, Anthony, you do, you know, as a lieutenant, you do so much, and we really appreciate it. What I could say is, what can I say to this group that does so much and asks for so little? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So again, it's about preserving the peace, protecting the public, and again, promoting a better relationship between the police and the people that we protect and serve. Thank you for joining this morning. We'll open the floor to any additional questions. So it's roughly it's over $500,000. And obviously it depends on how much more we want to expand the program, because we have we're going to hopefully by the end of the summer have more than 400 police officers. But like I stated, we're doing it in phases. So first we'll have 25, and then we'll move to 150, and then we'll see if every police officer wears one. Go ahead, you come on.
And the 150 are already
Budgeted for.
Just so you know, the 150 are already docked in the station, ready to go. The reason for this pilot program is obviously there's going to be open public record requests. There's going to be evidentiary where we have to provide discovery for the court system because of what an officer views. There's going to be complaints from internal affairs. So there's so many licenses that we need. So there's got to be redactions. Suppose you walk into a hospital or walk into a church. You know, there's different things that are going to, you know, it's a learning curve. So you have to realize there's going to be redactions. The legal department is part of this. It doesn't just encompass the police department. It encompasses all of City Hall, the administrators. It encompasses, you know, internal affairs. This is a very big task, and we don't want to push the start button and have to push the stop button. We want to make sure when we push that start button, we're going forward, and we know to just start adding on and rolling, and that we've made it through all of the little issues that could come up. So I just wanted you to understand that.
How is going to be the process for the public access to the video that
Yeah, like the director said, there would be the Oprah request process, so you can come to City Hall and make that request of the body cam footage. You want to do it in Spanish? Okay, go ahead.
Yolanda, ellos aludieron de que para poder coger la información de las cámaras tienen que ir por el récord de público, solicitarlo, venir al tercer piso de la ciudad, solicitar el incidente, fecha, día y hora y con quién lo tuvo para poder completar la ley de someter esa evidencia legal y exhaustiva de la situación que ocurrió. So, Eso tiene que ser público como tal. En este caso, cuando se solicita una información pública, tienen 7 días a partir de ese día para poder someter esa información para no violar la ley como tal. Correctamente. Después que sea supervisado y que lo que están buscando es lo que están reclamando. Pero lo importante de todo esto es que van a ser claro y preciso. Si usted ha hecho algo mal, también va a salir en esa cámara. Si usted ha hecho algo bien, también va a salir en esa cámara. Si el policía hizo algo mal, va a salir ahí. Y si lo hizo bien, va a salir ahí. Las cámaras, los videos, hablan por sí solos. Más de 40 años. I think it's going to be a document of more than 40 years. You cannot take this.
There's retention.
Hay un proceso de retención, yes.
Period
Yeah.
that will pertain to this through the Attorney General guidelines with documents and with films. Those things are all in a schedule. They'll remain for quite some time.
And
That's what the big cost is.
that's what I was going to say. Yeah. El proceso de mantener la información guardada y segura a través del Departamento de la Fiscalía del Condado de Passaic tiene que ser desactiva y proteger esa información a lo que dura el caso, a lo que se preserva la información, va a ser bastante cuidadoso.
Excuse me, Anthony?
One officer gets to the scene.
No. Basically, what will happen is that officer is out there. That officer is required to follow the procedures. They've all been trained by the lieutenant and others. So they know the requirements. They know what they're supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do with that camera. When they come back, there will be a sheet that has to be done, and then pretty much a supervisor can review it on the system. But you have to realize there's ways to redact, there's ways to block out. Legal has those capabilities. So it has to be date and time stamped because you don't want Jerry Spezial to go into that system, change something, modify something. You have to have that catalog and that security. Do you want to talk on that, Todd? I mean, you know about this with the security aspect. No, because basically they have 1013s on their radio. That's how they would, go for help. They could push the button, they have a 1013 button on their radio. As far as our vehicles with GPS and the new communication system, we'll know where they are. However, the camera is not something that is, until you come back and put it into that docking station and it downloads into the system, that's when the review process, that's when the upload and all the storage takes place. So it's not something where we're following you around and looking to see, what are you doing now? No, we use a combination of GPS in our vehicles, our new CAD system, the 1013 on the radio. So there's different safety features throughout a combination of technology that we utilize for the police department. But it's not something where we're going real time, with a camera so that we could look at it. It's an after-the-fact review.
Yeah, that's well said. Well said. And something I'm quite sure it may have been alluded to earlier. So many lawsuits that the city council has to vote on, and it's quite frankly it's overwhelming at times. So we're hoping, we're not saying that this is 100% certain, to reduce litigation here in this city involving police officers, but it's one of our goals. It's one of the reasons why we're pursuing this endeavor at this juncture. Yes?
What would if in the event of an incident, in the event of like a controversial...
Oh, thanks, Mr. Ming. I don't know if
In
he wants
the
to...
event of a controversial incident, an officer-involved shooting, or anything like that, what would the time lag be between the incident and when the public would have access to the footage?
Director.
As you know, there's been laws signed into place, by the governor and the legislature with regard to officer-involved shootings. The Attorney General's office has that domain. So really, that becomes a piece of evidence. So as far as the identification of those people, what transpired on that, As soon as there's a shooting, God forbid, with a police officer involved, what takes place is we have to make our notifications, get the Attorney General's office shooting team. People come in here. They then make those determinations as to what is going to be released and what is not. As you know, with the Open Public Records Act, there's certain times when there's an active investigation, we can't release things. So it's really going to be on that same schedule. If we couldn't release a police report to you because there's an active investigation in a shooting, we certainly couldn't release a video footage. Whether it was a good shooting or not, I would think that the Attorney General is going to have to think of the prosecutorial side and then dealing with the public side. So they'll make those determinations. It would not be on us to determine what would be released and what would not.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. You're welcome. Any additional questions? Rocket Reverend.
So the cameras, how are they stored? Or say a police officer is done with his shift or tour, he or she comes in, and what do they do with the camera then?
Gio, you want to do it? You set the whole thing up.
A little gunshot. No pun intended.
A little bit. At the beginning of the shift, everybody's assigned their individual camera. They're stored in a secured area. It's a locked and video surveillance room. During their shift, they will keep it. They will do whatever tagging and categorizing that they have to do for each assignment that they respond to. And at the end of the day, when it's time to upload the product, they will go back to the same secured room. They will dock it in the loading area. And not only does it charge the unit as it's downloading all the information to the secured cloud, it also is doing any necessary software updates and stuff like that. There's never going to be any confusion where one officer takes another officer's camera. There's one assigned to each individual person.
And how much, do you have a ballpark figure how much each camera costs?
Cameras are relatively inexpensive. They're $600 to $700 each. But as the director and I think the mayor alluded to, most of the cost is on the maintenance and the storage fees over the 5-year term.
Okay, I have one more question. I noticed Mayor Sarah has a Kennedy High School mask on. Mayor Sarah, do you also have an East Side mask that you wear?
I have an orange and blue, but it's the New York Mets, just like Anthony Johnson. But if you have an East Side Ghosts, I will wear it, obviously, in honor of Joe Clark as well. Yes, please. Yes.
Paterson will remain under the state control of the schools.
Right.
What would that mean if we localize it, and would that be the outcome we want?
Yeah, thank you. So tomorrow, the New Jersey State Board of Education will vote on whether or not Paterson, for the first time in 30 years, approximately 30 years, because it was August 6, 1991, that they Trenton wrested control from Paterson of our school district. Tomorrow, we anticipate that the school board will vote in favor of returning local control to Paterson. I will be attending the meeting and also participating in the meeting. In fact, I spoke with state officials just before this press conference to reassure them that we believe we are prepared in Paterson to assume control of our schools once again. Yeah, there have been benchmarks that have been set prior to the pandemic, whether it be in personnel, finance, academic achievement, and they've met those measures. And so I think there's a certain level of stability now in the school district. You have a school board that has taken the appropriate actions, and hence tomorrow, pivotal vote, which I feel like it will go in our favor.
Are we ready?
And I believe we are ready. It's been, I mean, think about 30 years. How many children have gone through the school district in that time period?
Ready and prove it, too.
Any possibility that we can see the officers in action, getting to the car with the camera?
No. Officers, I mean, it's up to,
Our-
I don't have any issues with that, Yolanda.
You can just watch them get into the car?
Yeah, like approaching you and.
But nothing like a COPS program, right? Because they discontinued that, okay.
You get off the car, hi, say, boom, hi.
Okay, thanks again, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. This was your shining moment.